Hello and welcome to the Be Glad movement. My name's Pollyanna and I'm on a mission to bring you as many stories as possible of good coming out of bad and reasons to be glad. And today I'm joined by Rob. Say hello, Rob.
Hello, everybody. How are you doing?
Fantastic. Yeah, good. Rob, I'm just going to let you dive straight in and tell us your story.
Okay, so where to start? Very interesting. So I'm ex-military, so I'm a veteran. I served for 12 years in total. I served under a couple of different cap badges, so I did some various roles. But when I left the military, got a little bit lost and decided that I was sat on the couch one day. I was teaching, I was coaching, I was developing people, and I was sat on the couch one day, and my other half said to me, "You know what? You need to be happier. You're a very happy guy, but something's wrong. So do something you love, and that way you'll be able to inspire others, and you'll be able to be happy again. It doesn't become a job anymore." So I was drinking a coffee at the time, and I thought, I've always been a coffee snob. I'm an arrogant coffee drinker. I'm not going to lie about it. That's who I am. So I was drinking the coffee, and I decided that actually probably I could make better coffee than I was drinking. So that took me down this whole rabbit hole, and I invented a company called 50 Cal Coffee Company, which has now been running about a year, doing absolutely crazy success because people like good coffee, right? So it's really cool. And then I got involved with the business world. So I'm going to skip across that because actually I got involved with the business world of veterans and how veterans are. And I realised that people weren't talking to each other. There was nobody networking, talking, and people were getting very closed down and losing their internal credibility. So how can I explain it to you? So basically when I was a serving soldier, if I was out and people asked me, "What do you do for a living?" I'd say, "I'm a soldier."
Right.
Once I'd left, people would say to me, "What do you do for a living?" I'd say, "Well, a bit of this, a bit of that." There was no internal pride. I had no goal. I had no good compass of where I was going in life, really. And I saw that a lot of people had this. And I also saw that people missed the unity.
Sure.
So I had to come up with a plan. And the plan was to connect all these people. And I knew it had to be radical. And I knew it had to be something completely outlandish and completely just undoable almost, but just something that a military mindset would get us through. So I came up with this idea that we'd cycle around the country, unaided, untrained, unprepared, if I dare say, and we'd meet veterans at every stop, and we'd do it completely off the donations and caring and love of the veteran community and supporters of the military community.
Fantastic.
So the idea was born. So we started in Edinburgh on the 25th of last month of June, and we decided that we'd fit that into the 20. It's a really not that great name, but it's a 22 kill, 22 of 22, which is the 22 press ups for 22 days of people committing suicide in the United States and across in England. And it's a big veteran thing, very close to my heart because I've lost a few friends, as I'm sure many people who are in the service community have. So the idea was we were going to do it for 22 days. We were going to cycle, meeting veterans along the way and just showcasing the highs and the lows. So the idea was that we'd go and talk about business, we'd talk about mental health issues, we'd talk about struggles after service, we'd talk about the highs after service, we'd talk about where people could find help, where people could really get back to who they were and not feel so lost and alone. And we kind of came up with a strapline that it's okay to not be okay, but it's not okay to stay not okay. So that's kind of where we went. And this all came 3 weeks before we set off. So there was no planning, no preparation. It was, we'll cuff it till we do it sort of thing. It was a very interesting,
idea. So you had this idea and then you literally set off 3 weeks later?
Pretty much. No training, no nothing. Because it was such a crazy task, we were offered unbelievable amounts of support. So we got sponsored by Rally Bikes UK, who were amazing. So they gave us 3 bikes, and we got sponsored by Halfords. We got sponsored by Treads UK, who are a big cycling scene, and many more. I mean, it's just incredible how many people just jumped straight on it because they saw, one, how important the task was, but two, how crazy the task was. And nobody thought we'd do it. It was crazy. And the idea to start was that I'd do it solo. So I'd do it on my own. And then a couple of guys reached out to me and said, there's a gentleman called Gav Corlos who is pretty hot on the old social media side of life. Maybe someone worth speaking to, getting him to do some stuff for you. So I contacted him. I said, Gav, would you like to run social media? And after talking to him, I was like, no, actually, you're coming. Whether you like it or not, you're coming. So he got involved, which is amazing. And then it all seemed to be like a fate thing. So everything just seemed to tick boxes and everything seemed to fall into place.
Right.
A friend who I've been following on social media, bear in mind I've never met these people, but social media really gave us that link and that connection. There was a guy called Andy Price who runs the Weymouth Veterans Hub, which is a complete success. And he'd been doing it for about a year, and he'd just been doing social meets, social gatherings where people come together and, have a drink, friends, family, and then we're using that as a signpost service for people who are struggling.
Awesome.
Then, yeah, really, really good actually. And he put a video out saying, look, we want to do this, want to step this up because it's really working. People are really responding well to this. Can anybody, do some fundraising or whatever? And just seemed like the perfect opportunity for me to go, funny enough, we're about to try this crazy thing. Let's see if we can raise you some money. So yeah, it kind of, it came from there really. Yeah. And then 2 other charities came to light who were really important. So we did the Tommy Atkins Centre in Wolverhampton, who are just absolutely incredible. They have an onboard, probably going to say this wrong, psychotherapist and a doctor, and they provide free care to anybody who's suffering. So they were really close to sort of what our aim was, which was really cool. And then Colin McLaughlin, who's former Special Air Service, he runs a charity up in Scotland called Who Dares Cares, and they deal with anybody who's had PTSD. So these 3 charities, I looked into the back of them and thought, actually, these are good guys. These are the guys that aren't swamping, and they are responding to people who need help. And they just fitted into sort of my moral compass of where charities should be. I don't want to be the guy that knocks charities, because everybody has their own, but there's some out there who are not really following what a moral compass direction should point them.
I think I know about.
I don't want to be horrible about it, but it is what it is. So these guys are really, the smaller charities. The Weymouth Veterans Hub wasn't a charity; it was a good cause. But actually, so we started raising money for them, and we just showcased it all over Facebook and Instagram and Twitter, and we used the platform that I already had with 50 Cal Coffee Company, because we've got quite a big social following. And we said, look, guys, if you're okay with this, we asked the public first, obviously. If you're okay with this, is there a chance we could showcase what we're about to do for the ride through this medium? And every single person was like, yeah, absolutely, 100%, brilliant.
Awesome.
So, yeah, that's kind of what we've just been doing. And it was, we got back just over a week ago. Wow. It was tough.
And it was I know it was tough because you suffered an injury right at the end, didn't you? Tell us about that.
Yeah. It turns out big guys don't fly. I had a little off and spent a night in A&E, actually. I went over the handlebars. My own fault. We'd been at the Weymouth, so we had one day where we were going to sort of relax a little bit, and we were going to spend a day in Weymouth Veterans Hub, just meeting and greeting people, and just because it was part of the cause, and the aim originally was we were going to finish there, but we thought, why not cycle back up to Lincoln, which is my hometown.
Right.
So then we were going to have the day there, chill out and meet everybody, drink some good coffee, and have some cake and all that good stuff. And actually, we had the full day there. I got completely sunstroked to Dickens, because as you know, the weather has been incredible, but also a bit of a nightmare, let me tell you.
Beautiful weather, but maybe not if you're cycling your shorts off.
Yeah, absolutely, especially when you're not untrained. I'm not a fit gent. I've not been a fit gent for many years, but crikey, it was very interesting. So we were cycling to the campsite. We're about 200 meters away, going down a hill. There was a sharp right-hand bend at the end. I just lost concentration and ended up in the bushes. It was quite bad. Suspected 2 broken ribs and quite a bad back. So I didn't get rushed to hospital. It was just, I thought it would best go to hospital to get checked out. So arrived at hospital, they noticed some swelling on my chest, which obviously, so I had CT scans and such like, and spent quite a few hours there. But they gave me the not so all clear. There was nothing life threatening. They recommended I didn't continue the ride, and I was broken, but there was no way they were stopping me. It's that good old military mindset that kept me going. I've just had to there was too many people relying on us. In hindsight, I probably should have taken their advice. I was in hospital 2 days ago. I was still suffering quite badly. But yeah, not good. But hey ho, we push on. It was a good cause. So
yeah, well, there's the pain of what had happened to you, but then also you've got the elation of finishing.
Absolutely, yeah, definitely. There was no way I wasn't going to finish. I mean, crikey, I could have had a broken leg and a cast on. I'd have still finished.
Remind me exactly how many miles you went in the end.
So we did 1,164 miles.
Goodness, with no training.
Nope, not at all. All completely unsupported, so there was no support vehicle. We carried all our own kit, self-sufficed all the way, and we just lived completely off donations. And it was hard. It was real hard. So we rough slept. We got people's houses. I mean, the generosity of the British public was just, I can't deny how wonderful the British public are. Just simply amazing.
That was going to be my next question, actually. You must have met some really interesting people along the way. Wow.
Yeah, absolutely. So from very wealthy people who were willing to put their hands in their pockets and just give us everything, to people who opened their doors even though they weren't there and left us a key under an ornament in the front garden. It was just, and just said, yeah, go in, there's food in the fridge, help yourselves. Just, whatever you need to do, just do us a favour and feed the cat. That's kind of thing. It was amazing, honestly. Absolutely amazing. To people we met on the journey. So there was one gentleman in particular who, I won't mention names because of the nature of what it is, but they offered to put us up in their house up north and suffers Parkinson's very, very badly, but was willing to open their door. They would open their doors for us. And the inspirational messages that we were putting out, he says, has helped him with his journey. He then fell into quite a bad coma, which was horrendous, and we were all quite shook by this because he was a really nice guy. He's holding conversations with him and everything, but suffering quite hard. He's come out of his coma, and he's been watching our videos again as we've continued this journey, and just says it's part of his reason to get up, which is just, what can I say? That's incredible. That's just awesome. Unbelievable. So yeah, we have touched a lot of lives. So probably again, I can't mention names. I do apologise because of the nature of it. But we've had a few people contact us and say, they were on the verge of taking their own lives. But it's nice to know that people care. They've tried charities, and charities have let them down. But knowing that I'm going to call it the brotherhood, but I do mean the sisterhood as well. The family network is still out there, and people still care. So being able to touch people like that and being able to get those messages, we've had messages from partners saying, just to let you know that you've completely changed my husband's life, my partner's life, because they've seen this network that's growing, this community that's growing. And it was just, I was so humbled by this silly idea I had, but it's incredible. And the business connections as well have just been insane. I tell you, it's incredible how we went down to the Dorchester gym, down obviously in Dorchester, run by a great guy called Luke Mannion, who's ex-2 para. Probably going to kill me for that. I probably got that wrong. It's probably 1 para. But he's 2 parachute regiment. And what an incredible human being. What an incredible human being. Such a great business mind on him, and he's willing to help other people. And I know that we've hooked him up with a couple of people who are now getting advice from him, and they're doing exceptional things as well. So it's just that ability to be able to just put 2 people together in a conversation and it grow massively very quickly. It's just so humbling. It's lovely. I couldn't be any happier with what we've achieved, to be honest.
Fantastic. That's such an incredible story from sitting on your sofa having a cup of coffee and I mean, you're already doing good by coaching and mentoring people, but for your partner to notice that you weren't 100% happy and just seed of thought which snowballed.
Absolutely. I mean, to be honest with you, my transition out of the military wasn't a great one. And I think that's a lot of problem that the people. when you've worked so closely with people and you're so regimented daily for so long, when that stops and it's full stop and you leave the military, that transition can be a sense of elation because you're partying and you're going, yes, I'm no longer, held by this regime or whatever. But actually, very quickly that kind of goes, oh, hang on a second, that's the life I'm used to.
Sure.
And it's that recognition of the fact that things have changed. Nobody needs to give you permission to do anything anymore. Nobody needs to be the person that says, you've got to be on parade at 11 o'clock in the morning, 10 o'clock, whatever.
Right.
There's none of that. It's all self-discipline. And it's very difficult for a lot of people to sort of step up to. I do apologise, my phone's going off.
Don't worry.
It's all connected. So there's a lot of people in the background that don't see that transition problem. And they lose that internal credibility. And that was for me. I sadly, I had a good time, but I went off around the world and drunk quite heavily. Partying. I'm not an alcoholic in any way, shape, or form. Although I am having. It's going to sound like I'm an alcoholic, but I'm having a year off beer. So I've decided that I'm not having alcohol this year, just to reconfirm in my mind that I'm not an alcoholic.
Sure.
But I'm 7 months in or something like that, and don't miss it. It's not something that's entertained me, so it's a good thing to do. I thought at the end of the ride I might need a drink, but I was so thirsty and dehydrated, it was just juice. So yeah, the transitional piece is the thing that people struggle with, really. And then realizing that the skill sets you've got are not that transferable.
Okay.
The realism is that people tell you you've got these wicked transferable skills that are really powerful, and your mindset will get you through anything. It's very difficult for a lot of veterans when they become veterans. It's very difficult because some civilian employers don't see it that way. They don't. They honestly don't. I worked for a civilian employer and had to rise the scales quite quickly. But once they got to know me, it was different because they realised that the teamwork, the leadership, the ability to adapt and overcome, working in pressurised situations, all that good stuff really is, and the resilience as well is really powerful. But there's a lot of people who don't have that ability to see those skills. I was very lucky. I was looked after by a great man who coached and mentored me, in fairness. And as we move forward, he really looked after me, and I owe that guy a lot, actually. And he'll be getting a phone call after this interview, to be honest, because I haven't spoken to him for a week, and I need to tell him that I'm still alive, which is great. But that transitional piece is very difficult for a lot of people, and that's part of the spark for me to realise, to tell other people that it's okay. It's okay. Everybody feels the same. So
that I just think it's an incredible story. That you've you had this idea and ran with it. Just got in there 3 weeks after having the idea, rather than letting it. Because sometimes you have great ideas and then you put it on the back burner and it doesn't happen, but you took action straight away.
Absolutely, it's needed. Sometimes action. You've got to have an action to a reaction, and actually taking that time to let it sit and ferment so you can get the goodness from it isn't always the best plan, because sometimes, to be honest with you, the day I started riding, I was like, oh my life, what have I done? What have I done? This is incredible. We're just about to embark on this ridiculous journey, and I've done no training. That's not how it works. But the adapt and overcome, and you kind of crack on. But if I'd have let that ferment in my mind for a while, there's nowhere I'd have gone. I'd have built it up to be something and not completed it, and then been in a darker place for not completing it for a lot longer.
Sure. Yeah, so take action. That's it's a good
absolutely message. Yeah. Fake it till you make it, I think they call it. Fake it till you make it and just go from there.
I don't think they're usually talking about getting on a bike and...
No, I don't either. I might have took that the wrong way, hey?
You made it work, though, and that's the most important thing. So what's next? I mean, how much money did you raise in total for all the...
Well, we're still raising money, so we're still going, which is quite powerful. We've already got, so we're about £3,300. There's going to be about £1,100 for each charity, which is great. We did set a very high bar. We set that we wanted to raise 22,000. And there was a few incidents that kind of stopped that on the way. to not go into it. But I
Sure.
think some people's mental health can be shocking to a lot of the public. I think that because of a lot of the charities asking for money out there at the moment that don't really do a lot with it. I don't mean to tarnish anybody, and I'm not pointing the finger
Sure.
directly, but some charities out there aren't very good at using the money they get given, so the British public are a lot less likely to give, if I'm
A little
honest.
more wary, yeah.
Absolutely, yeah, sure. So we set the bar of 22,000. 22,222 was what we wanted to raise.
Right.
I didn't expect to raise that much, to be honest, and there were a few hiccups along the way that kind of stopped that. But we still raised a good amount of money, which will change lives. And the ride was never originally about that, to be honest. So we've achieved goal one. Tier one goal is achieved, that we've started a networking group. And tier two is the fact that we've raised some money, which is always going to help. And even if that goes to buying one person a meal, it's life changing for some people, so it's great. And I'm not upset by that. We are going to be running auctions. So today the first item goes up, and the end of the ride was the start of something new. And that's what we're saying. That was us showing up and showing off. And from there, we're now going to go on to do, we've got 50 cal media community, which is great, and that's growing daily. We've got a thing called Live for Veterans, which is where veterans come on and serving soldiers, and they talk from 1 minute to 5 minutes about themselves, about what they're up to, and just get stuff off their chest in a very free environment that there's no judgment, there's no negativity, and it's a live Facebook orientated group.
Awesome.
Yeah, it's really, really clever. And it does mean that you have to get out of your comfort zone a little bit, because you have to do a live and talk to your phone, which is really quite scary for some people. So there's going to be a 30-day trial with that. So we're going to do 30 days, and then you go into tranche 2. And tranche 2, there's going to be training and development and a lot more input from me and Gav, who are running it, me and Gav Carlos, who are running it. He's been the inspiration behind that. I can't take full credit for it. He's an incredible human being, Gav. And he's done wonderful, wonderful things. And obviously he rode with me from the start to the finish. And many people come and join us. So we had quite a lot of people join us on the ride. But the 50 cal community media community is basically the next step in everything we're going to do. So there's going to be more challenges which people can get involved with. There's going to be more fundraising. There's going to be more events. There's going to be more live media. There's going to be more interviews. There's going to be more, wow, just so much to talk about. Just so much to do. Fantastic. It's incredible. All that, I run a coffee company as well. So busy boy.
Yeah, certainly keeping you busy. You're going to need a lot of coffee to get all this work done.
Well, luckily I am an arrogant coffee drinker, as we discussed. I do love coffee.
You must share all the links with me so that I can put them
that's very kind, thank you.
Yeah, so that people can look up afterwards, because that's the whole sort of point of my project, of the Be Glad movement, is to share stories where people can find other people that they relate to, and if they need it, get help, but get hope from other people's stories. So I'll definitely be sharing all your links, and especially to the fundraising one as well.
And vice versa as well. We'll do the same for you as well.
Awesome, thank you. Yeah, so I think we've come to sort of a natural end, unless there's anything else you want to tell us.
Not really, but guys, there is hope on the other side. Don't be afraid to reach out and talk to people. We, as 50 Cal Coffee Company, was grown from the fact that we were more than just a coffee company. We're more about communication. And the best way that you ladies have got it right for years is that if you're going to have a chat with one of your friends, you pick up a coffee and have a drink. And we're trying to get blokes to do that as well. So guys, don't be afraid to talk. It's good to talk. Bob Hoskins said it quite right. And he said, it's good to talk. And it's true. It really is true that you can just ask someone to go for a coffee with you. And I'm not saying a 50 Cal particularly. I'm saying just go for a coffee with someone. Talk to someone. If you've got an idea, share it. Be part of a community. Be part of that network that's going to help you and provide you a growth in the future. Don't think you can achieve everything on your own, because it's not an easy way to go. And look for ladies like this who are going to inspire you as well, because she's obviously a great human being.
Rob, bless you. That's such a kind thing to say, and such a great message. I really appreciate you for saying that, because like your hashtag, it's okay not to be okay. But it's
absolutely
not reach out for help. You know, reach out for help, do please. So
absolutely.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Polly. Thank you for your time as well, and massive credit to you for what you're doing. I think it's a very important. Sorry, my dog's going mad in the background. Sorry. I think it's very important sometimes that we reach out to others and say, you know what, actually respect to you for what you're doing and actually changing the environment as well. And I think we need to pay particular thanks to people like yourself who are willing to step up to the bar and make a difference, because without people like you, people don't learn about these different situations and people don't get encouragement to step out of their comfort zone. So thank you to you.
Oh, bless your heart. I really appreciate you for saying that. That gives me more oomph to keep going with it all.
Good, and you should. You definitely should.
Thank you. Thank you. If you like this video, please do hit the subscribe button and you'll get notifications when new videos are uploaded. You can follow us on Instagram, Facebook and Twitter. If you search @BeGladMovement, you should be able to find us. I'll share all the links to the charities that Rob has mentioned and his charities and all the things, all the good stuff that he's doing. There's so much. But yeah, like I say, do like and subscribe and share and spread the good word, and let's help everybody that we can possibly help lead happier lives. Many thanks. I'll see you in another episode. Thanks, Rob.
Thanks, Polly. Take care. All the best.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.